All right, we are back with Annie now. I think it was a week or two ago that we originally got together and we worked on, so there was some custody issues, I believe, with your daughter's father and some issues with the in-laws there not really being on board and you feeling like you really wanted to be able to protect her from the
Yeah,
abuses and from the attitude in general and all of that. So I think we did
yeah,
some work around that. Um,
yeah.
was there anything else involved, or was that pretty much what was going on with that?
Um, so yeah, I mean the custody battle was ongoing for years and years, probably like 8 years. And that actually ended 2 years ago, which is when he stopped. He wasn't allowed to see her anymore. Um, and his parents wanted to continue contact with her. Um, and but they, like you say, they were just not able to acknowledge what we had been through, um, as mother and daughter through the actions of their abusive son. So I wasn't able to allow contact to go ahead if they're, going to discount what we went through. It's I didn't see that as a healthy thing. So so there was no contact, but my daughter really was desperate to see them. She saw them as separate to the abuse. She didn't, she doesn't include them in anything horrible that her dad put her through. Um, so I've kind of been having a battle with her over the last 2 years over her wanting to see them wanting to see her, and I'm in the middle there, like going, okay, but let's just all acknowledge the past and then we can move forward. So um, I've kind of come to a place now of accepting that I can't force them to believe or to acknowledge or to accept or anything like that. I can't shake them into awareness. They're obviously in a state of denial. They're not able to accept that their son was doing anything wrong. They
Wouldn't
are
it be
willing.
great if we could just grab people and shake sense into them?
Oh my God, seriously, I wish I could do that on a daily basis, but I've learned to kind of mute those urges. So yeah, so yeah, I've um I've done work around that, around letting go of my need to um, be believed by them. I mean, and I'm really torn with that, really torn because it's our truth. It's what he put us through was hell, and to just sort of do what they want to do, which is just sweep it all away, just feels really wrong. But I have to be led by my daughter on this, and the fact that she just wants a relationship with her paternal grandparents. They have agreed to not have him anywhere around her if she's at or when she's at their house. So uh yeah, so I've just been, well, actually yesterday I sat down and I just wrote out our story. I just wrote it, I typed it all out. I had to take some breaks and have some breakdowns and cry about it, and just the horror of all those years and none of the services helping us or believing me, and my daughter being too scared to speak to anybody but me, and all of that stuff. I was able to write it all out, and I'm going to go through it with some people and see if it needs, like, if I need to take something out or add something to it. I'm going to go through it with my daughter too, and I'm going to then deliver that to them. And then I know that I've done all I can do, and my daughter knows that I've done all I can do to get them to just feel me a little bit. Um, and so I wrote that out yesterday, and I was going to do some PS Tech on it last night, but I just had to go to bed after that. I was like, no, I'm just going to put on a sleep meditation and go to sleep. Um, and then I did some PS Tech work on it this morning, and I really didn't think it was going to work. I was thinking, no way, this feeling is too strong. It's too raw. It's too everything. It's not going to work. And of course it did work, about halfway through, I'm just feeling like, it's not leaving me completely, but it's dimming it. It's doing exactly what it says it's supposed to be doing. And I'm able to talk about it without welling up, which I wasn't able to do before. Um, yeah, just so grateful to it. And I'm telling everyone about it. Have you heard of PS Tech? Have you tried? I'll send you the link. Don't worry.
Yeah, you sound like me. I would just like to rent out a van and drive up and down the road. Are you upset about anything? Here you go.
Yeah, that's literally what I've been doing, just raving about it because it's just, I don't want to use the word magic, but it feels like it.
It really
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what have you noticed changing, even just since the first round that we did together last time? Like, what kind of shifts did you notice, either in the actual reality in your world or just in your own emotional reactions?
Yeah, I think I was even more heightened of, just heightened awareness of my emotional responses to my, daily situations with my daughter, with my son, with people in general. Just more aware of, how I'm responding. And then I'm sort of checking myself, like, okay, what is the root of this? And just checking in with myself a lot more and just getting real honest with myself. And does this really matter? Should this feel like this big? Or, just, I don't know, just having more of an honest dialogue with myself is what I feel is happening.
That's great. Good.
Yeah.
And have you been more at peace? Like, I think you mentioned, just now that the rounds you did this morning kind of, it really dimmed those reactivity feelings and everything. Have you
Mm.
noticed that overall since we did the original work? Were you a little bit calmer
Yeah.
when it came to dealing with your in-laws or your
Yeah. I guess.
daughter?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, things have been happening, my daughter self-harms and um, just my reaction to that has been different. It's been, um, yeah, definitely not as intense. And I've had to have conversations with social workers about the paternal grandparents. And at one point, that tension was really rising, and I get it. It comes to my throat usually because, I'm trying to shout my truth and no one's listening. So what happened was it rose, and then just somehow it didn't explode like it usually does. It rose, and then it's sort of like a wave, just sort of kind of like a gentle wave. I was able to take a breath, collect myself, and then express myself clearly, which in the past, in an emotional state, I would not have been able to do.
Beautiful.
Mm,
That's the gift of this. That's the big shift that happens when you start doing this work, and I love it.
mm,
Um, because of what you mentioned, I wanted to offer another suggestion as to something that you could specifically focus on to
mm,
find more peace around the fact that they're not acknowledging what has happened to you and to your daughter and all of that. Um, and not to say that it's wrong of you to want that from them or hope that they could acknowledge that pain and whatever hand that they had in the whole situation.
mm,
But as far as your own emotional piece about it, it sounds like, because you just said exactly what I was thinking, that there's been a theme in your life of you trying to shout your truth and nobody's hearing you. Nobody's listening, nobody's acknowledging it.
mm,
And so I think that doing a round or two of the click tracks where you just acknowledge that theme throughout the course of your life, start with the in-laws because that's where the feeling is the most intense, or your ex's parents. I know they're not your in-laws anymore, but
yeah.
start with your ex's parents and how you just really want them so badly to acknowledge what you and your daughter have been through, and what hand their son and they have played in that. And so you start there to get the emotion really strong,
Mm,
but then just acknowledge like all of the examples throughout the course of your life where you've been trying to get people to hear you, to get people to acknowledge your truth, how you feel, what you think, and that they just dismiss it. Everybody's just dismiss it, push it away, push it down, sweep it like. And so, and I would really go into the frustration, rage, or anger of
mm,
how effing tired you are of
mm.
having that show up in your life, of having people in your life that dismiss your feelings. And just do that until there's no feeling left about it at all.
Yeah, that is an excellent suggestion, and I'm definitely going to take that on board. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many more things that I know I need to apply this to, like just so much. So I go to a 12-step group for Codependence Anonymous, and that's been a great thing in my life. But I believe that we need to incorporate lots of different things into our healing journey, and Coda has taken me so far and continues to take me, down that road to recovery. But to be able to apply PS Tech to these triggers and all these upsetting things that, I just feel nothing else does it like PS Tech does it. Um, and so, combining those two for me is just so powerful.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. And that's, like I said before, that's been my experience too. And I do feel like it takes a whole recipe. It's blending
Mm,
together whatever it is that works best for you.
yeah.
And I've never been one that really believed that just one single modality
Mm,
was what you were supposed to focus on. I
mm,
think that it really is a recipe. And I've been involved in some energy work practices where they say this is the only modality you should ever be doing, and if you're doing this, then you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And that just doesn't resonate with me. Like, to
mm.
me, it's like, it's all of this work to me is an and rather
Yeah.
than an or.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
so yes, I find that PS Tech is the most effective, most permanent, quickest way
Mm,
to get emotional peace. But that doesn't mean that I think energy work doesn't work, or that meditation is useless, or that shifting your mindset on a conscious level about something isn't beneficial. Like, all of those things are also helpful. It's
mm.
just that this is like, it's like a jackhammer.
Yeah.
In a world full of hand tools, this is a jackhammer. It's just
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. Yeah. Hmm. I'm just conscious of my food in the oven. I'm just gonna
okay.
go grab that real quick, if
All
that's
right.
okay.
Yep. So, what else have you tried the PS Tech on? Like, what other issues in your life have you been using it on since we last spoke, and where have you noticed some shifts with those?
So literally just around the paternal grandparents, that whole situation, my daughter, and the situation with my mom and my mom and my brother. I don't know if I went into the situation with my brother on our last conversation.
I think you
Uh,
briefly mentioned him, but I don't think that we really went into great detail.
we don't need to really.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's just a case of letting them letting them be. So my mom's not mentally stable. She's paranoid schizophrenic, and my brother has just been diagnosed. Well, he's had a psychotic episode last year and hasn't really recovered from it, and is just in a lot of denial, basically, which is he's following my mom's footsteps with that. Just, nope, nothing's wrong here. And they're just in a world of their own, and in a world of pain. And yeah, I have to separate from that, because I really, I spent so many years just wanting my mom to be happy and just feel better and just get better, and thinking I can help her get better if she would just listen to me, you know, and just reaching that kind of like, what, this isn't my job, and you can't, you can lead a horse to water, can't make it drink, and I've tried and tried, and I can't,
Yeah. Really, I
yeah,
think in those kinds of situations, all we can do is lead by example,
exactly.
and we
Yeah,
can love them as best we can. Sometimes we have to love them from afar to keep ourselves healthy, but
exactly.
to be able to send them love, to let them know that they're loved, even if you can't necessarily support their behavior.
Mm,
But really, to lead by healing your own wounds around it and your own frustration over not being able to fix them, and all of that.
mm.
And I've
And that's what,
mentioned I've
sorry.
mentioned before that I've had to use PS Tech to have a fit about family members not using PS Tech. So it's it's like, I know this could fix you, or this could really improve our relationship, but being able to be at peace about that, okay, so I still have that opinion, but I'm at peace about it. And it's none of my business
Mm,
whether they're going to do the same kind of work that that I
mm,
find valuable. So, I think that adopting that with any friends or family can be beneficial, but it's not always easy,
mm.
especially if you're not using tools like PS Tech to come to peace about stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that just PS Tech helped me drain some of the resentment I had towards my mom. And just there was so much anger at her, but then finally come to realize that how can you be angry at someone who is mentally ill? They are not aware of themselves. And as much as, I want her to be aware of herself and to heal herself, she isn't. And that's that, like that's literally, it is what it is. And it's definitely taken the intensity out of that kind of feeling of God. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, oh, there was more I wanted to say. My mind's just gone blank. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's totally fine.
Mm,
I just really wanted to get your feedback on how things have been, and to see if there was anything else that you needed any assistance with figuring
mm,
out around that topic or anything. But
mm,
if you're good to go, if you're
mm.
happy, I'm happy.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely, I'm feeling a lot happier. I'm feeling more in control. I'm just, for a while I've been on the waiting list for a certain type of therapy, and I was just so desperate for this therapy and thinking, oh God, I just want to just be fixed and move on with my life. And it's like, oh, hi, April Adams. Thanks for introducing me to this thing that is fixing me, and I can move on with my life. And that's, I've been really noticing that recently with the manifestations of saying, I want this. And if it's something that is for my highest good, it just comes along. And, just,
Absolutely.
and the better it gets, the better it gets. It's just like, that good feeling is growing. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because what I find is a lot of times when people get on the spiritual path and start to develop their intuition and all of that, they start to almost expect to get these like divine bolts of lightning from the sky to tell them what, or just to magically fix them, or to tell them what, they need to be doing or whatever. But what I find is that when you put the call out for help or answers or healing, the the answer comes in the right tools coming your way so that you can help yourself. So you get the right mentor, the right guide, or the right book, or the right modality, or whatever that crosses your path. And
Mm,
that's really what people need to be looking for, not not some
mhm.
guru that can magically heal them for them, or
Right.
not some like angel that can suddenly
Mm,
magically heal you, and
yeah.
not some magical words that come out of the sky, but real world tools, because we're in physical form, so we have to look for something that's in physical form to be able to balance us in this way. So really being able to put that call out for help and then let it show up in real world ways, I think is really important.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, we are in control of our destiny, I believe, and that means we have to work at it. It's not a case of just, somebody else do this for me. It's taking responsibility, owning your stuff, knowing your stuff and owning your stuff, and then, moving forward, doing better in life. know. It keeps coming back to me. I was putting a lot of focus on other people, like if only they would do this, if only they would do that. And just recently, I've realized, oh yeah, it starts with me. It really, everything starts with me. Everything around me starts with me. Um, and yeah, just knowing that, just it really motivates me to do and be better. And I do see the effects around me in the certain people that I'm attracting through doing that. People that I want to be like. It is all working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Mm.
Well, I think that's a great note to finish on. So thank you so much for coming back on and updating us, and for being willing to come on and take part in general and share your story.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been a blessing, total blessing.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be in touch.
Alrighty, speak to you soon.
Thank you.